We at Peta believe in the welfare of animals everywhere. A lot of other charities are all bark and no bite, but we believe in action. Actually, bites hurt the dog's teeth and raise canine dental fees. Yeah, no, you're right, actually true. Write that one down. As you can see, we've assisted with animals all over the... Why the hell am I seeing a cat in a goal net right now?
Kediye doğru gitti bakın. İşte o kedi. Kaleci yoksa ben varım diyor. Şimdi çıktı. Sen de benden bir şeyler kaparsın demek istiyor.
Hey, come on, meow and that. Well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. We got a new goalkeeper. Actually, look, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. If you've been putting cats in bags, and that's actually highly offensive, we will be taking you to the highest. Oh my days, just start the episode, man. Yo guys, it is your boy Nirin here, and you are watching FTW. This is of course the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst what football has to offer during the last 7 days. What's been kicking off in the world this week? Well, in this week's episode of what batshit mental shit is happening in the United States, Donald Trump still wants Greenland. He claimed that just because Denmark landed there ages ago and put a flag down, it doesn't mean they own it. I mean, honestly, Donald, exactly. Greenlandish people are used to ice. They'll be less happy when 6-masked men with SS tattoos and 14-page criminal records deport them to El Salvador, however. And like a Call of Duty storyline, the German troops are inbound, Europe swearing to defend the territory. 16 days into 2026 and World War III's on the horizon, for fuck's sake. Cole Palmer will be performing in the cold when a World Cup 2026 stadium is in the United States of Greenland. On to the football though now, and we start in Spain. My shop now sells chorizo. And racism. Now, Real Madrid started their season with a serious amount of change. Professional eyebrow fiddler Carlo Ancelotti was given an 80-plus age rail card and thrusted into the sun. In his place would come young and exciting manager Xabi Alonso. He, of course, guided Bayer Leverkusen to an invincible Bundesliga crown, and he's a tactical genius. A good combination on paper. The problem is Real Madrid don't really care about any of those things. You see, Florentino Perez is like Kim Jong-un if he had a hip replacement and hatred for qualified linesmen, or love for them when it's in the Champions League. Real Madrid are defined by instant success. They haven't got time for a journey or a project. Now, a lack of preseason hurt Xabi off the bat, and struggling to gel with players caused rifts. Unlike him, Real players have plenty of lip, culminating in Vinny Jr. threatening to plant an IED in his work desk because he didn't want to get substituted. Under pressure due to results in November, he had a chance to redeem himself in the Supercopa. A Federico Valverde screamer followed by the world's first ever one-person boxing match saw them in the final versus Barcelona. Now, this glorified Saudi Arabian community dinner play unsurprisingly came down to the Catalan side Vida Galacticos. Kylian Mbappe benched with a certified FNG-inspired knee injury. Barca came out the traps early and took the lead. Rafinha scoring, and I'm surprised he didn't rip the ball in half. This man is just bare muscles at this point. He could rip a caravan in half by waving a Wii remote at it. The Brazilian's weekly workout is getting a little bit out of hand. He was doing bicep curls with Fermin Lopez before kickoff. And I don't mean they were both doing it. I mean, he was literally using Fermin Lopez as that. It would then proceed to be 3 goals in first half stoppage time. Vinny Jr. may have been a little bit out of form recently, but an incredible solo goal started things off here before Real Madrid decided that defending was optional, and then youngster Garcia equalised again. There was tension between the two Brazilians, Rafinha and Vinny having a conversation before Robert Lewandowski stole Vinny's ear, and Rafinha would go on to score again through the wickedest deflection since Keir Starmer last opened his mouth, and Barca would go on to win 3-2. Arda Güler was absolutely fuming and went to boot a ball away before slipping over catastrophically. That's a loss of 14.7 million Aura points. Dominic Szoboszlai is at least gas seeing this one. Meanwhile, for Hansi Flick, it means 8 wins in 8 finals in his managerial career. Barca's Supercopa vibes were delectable afterwards, but Kylian Mbappe was far from pleased for them, rejecting the chance to do a guard of honour for Barca that Xabi Alonso had wanted, and instead asking the rest of his teammates to go into the dressing room. Now, this came across very, very bizarre, but maybe made a bit more sense in the following days, as Xabi Alonso announced he was leaving his post as manager after about 14 minutes in charge. Kylian Mbappe kills another boss. He'll be campaigning to take over from Florentino Perez soon. Just you wait and see. In fairness, it was a nice, heartfelt, goodbye message from Kylian Mbappe about learning quite a lot from Xabi Alonso. It's crazy to think that Thomas Frank is still employed, even though he's got an Arsenal season ticket, and Amorim Maresca and Xabi Alonso are at Job Centre. So why exactly did this happen? I mean, ultimately, I don't think the two of them worked well. Xabi Alonso and Real Madrid. Xabi Alonso is a tactical tactical project manager who's going to ask a lot of his players in terms of tactical understanding and dedication. And honestly, Real Madrid is just full of egos and I don't want to do all that working hard shit. It's like two brands that just don't make sense collaborating together. But in fairness, he did also conduct some pretty bad performances with Real Madrid against some of the more elite teams in Europe, as well as struggling to have dressing room authority. Antonio Rudiger could be seen taking over team talks instead of him.
I'm overriding your decision as captain. For a team, yes, I'm overriding your decision as captain. I'm leading the ship.
A source close to the club suggested that players were apparently bored at the fact that Xabi Alonso wanted to go so, attention to detail on the tactical side of the game. You understand how mental it is? The players can't deal with tactics. Rodrigo's falling asleep when the boss starts talking about a 4-3-3. Kylian Mbappe doesn't want to hear it when Xabi Alonso suggests having any sort of pressing structure. And who would be their new boss after the old F4ing of Xabi Alonso? Alvaro Arbeloa. Jesus Christ, these lot are finished.
This football club is finished. Wahali, it is finished.
This man likes gegenpressing, you know? Good luck with that, broski. These lot barely track back. You'll be gegenpressing that P45 button. Vinny Jr. couldn't even cope with Xabi Alonso explaining what an inside forward was. And on top of that, the results for Alvaro, for Real Madrid's under-21 side, couldn't have been much worse. Those 4 L's in a row saw him clearly preparing to lose for the A-team because they were defeated in embarrassing fashion in the Copa del Rey 3-2 to Albacete. Fine, go and get Carlo Ancelotti. The winning goal in this one coming in the 94th minute, absolute scenes after a clinical counter-attack. They've lost to the Bombaclar alphabet, bro. You ended their losing run in the 2nd division. I just know Xabi Alonso's celebrating somewhere, knowing that Vinny Jr. was on the losing side here. Florentino Perez will be conducting his goons to go and grab Alvaro Arbeloa at Madrid Airport. Meanwhile, Real are already apparently looking for a new long-term boss. Alvaro Arbeloa missed his opportunity on day 1. Now, though, it is time for your Carabao Cup update, but I lost the graphic, so here's just a random flavor of Carabao. Mikel Arteta needs a trophy like Declan Rice needs to catch a wine at Carnival. He's desperate.
You're hearing this, you man. This guy's too funny.
Now, like Carney, and Victor Gyokeres has looked like he's been drunk for most of the season. But unlike Carney, his movement hasn't been quite as good. That would change, though, in the Carabao Cup semis versus Chelsea. Gunners fans left with semis after a 3-2 win versus their London rivals. Mikel Arteta faced off against Liam Rosenior in the FA Cup final of 2014, and now they were up against each other in the dugout in the build-up to the game, and Liam Rosenior was spitting some inspirational quotes.
That's a load of bollocks.
Bro is chatting Japanese, fam. What is he even talking about, bro? Cole Palmer is delighted at least having words broken down for him because he struggles with that usually. The first goal of this one came early via a set piece for Arsenal. Shock horror. But it did give Declan Rice a chance to shut up the Chelsea crowd. Meanwhile, Arsenal putting the ball in the back of the net here was great timing in the home end as well.
Saliba, why were you wanking on a video?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But Chelsea would even allow Victor Gyokeres to get on the score sheet here, thanks to absolute calamities from Robert Sanchez. And his list of crimes is getting outrageous. This is what Liam Rosenior was doing down on the touchline, allowing Glock 14 to fire off. But at the other end for Chelsea, and there was another unlikely hero. This blonde tart got a double, bro. You know what? Fair play, he kept a minute on his own, but him scoring 2, we might have to call this one a draw, because that's bad from Arsenal. Enzo Fernandez, meanwhile, was absolutely fuming at full time. He was feeling aggressive. Clearly, he's only just found out he's managed by a black man.
Oh, he's a little fraud. You're a little fucking...
Now, big transfer news this week was that Antoine Semenyo had finally completed his move from Bournemouth to Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Erling Haaland's already concerned about him winning the Golden Boot over him.
He's coming from a Golden Boot, so he's not going to pass to me. I'm going to do it.
And a really classy touch in leaving for Antoine, who took out a whole page of the Bournemouth Echo to say thank you to Cherry supporters. Obviously, Bournemouth and Bristol City really had a big part to play in his career. Really nice to see him go in a way like this. And we might be playing in a Carabao Cup final very soon, as there's a long way back for the Magpies, Newcastle being defeated by Man City 2-0 in the first leg of the semi-finals. Now, one of the most egregious things in this game was Anthony Gordon's trim. His barber's a Sunderland fan, mate. There's no explanation other than that. Meanwhile, Ryan Cherki is going absolutely mad for City. He grabbed a late goal to double the lead. Meanwhile, Antoine Semenyo also scored here too. And City would have had another one here if it wasn't for this egregious offside given against Erling Haaland. They switched off his goal-scoring command recently, to be fair. But a 5-minute VAR call. Look, if a VAR call is going to take 5 minutes, just allow it and do whatever the ref said. Lewis Hall got on the wrong side of Pep Guardiola by airing him for a throw-in. Pep absolutely fuming at this clear disrespect. This week also saw the third round of the FA Cup, a magical and ethereal competition where lower league sides get an incredible day out and a chance to play some of the world's elite and hold an absolute pumping.
That is a bad one. That really...
Manchester City scored 10. 10 v Exeter. 10-1 is an absolutely calamitous scoreline, and coincidentally was the date at which this game happened as well. San Marino are trying to play these lot. This is a team in the EFL, you know. This isn't a team in the 9th division. 2 own goals didn't necessarily help Exeter City in this one, who were trying to claim they'd scored 3 bangers to their mates in League One off the coast of Devon.
Do you think you could spare us the bullshit for 1 minute while I try to figure out how not to die at sea?
This game was one-sided. Exeter had ducked out of it from kickoff. But as tweeted by Manchester City, their 1 goal they did score was absolutely incredible. Liam Gallagher as well gave it some love. Exeter were at least happy with that one. But taking a ball to the centre circle when you're 9-0 down is crazy. Alright, next goal wins, lads. Don't worry about it. Exeter's boss was absolutely heartbroken, I'm sure, seeing his side get just about edged out by 9 goals here. It was awesome stuff, though, for Manchester City youngster Ryan McAdoo, who scored his first goal and went straight to celebrate with his parents. There may have been no giant killing in that match, but there absolutely was when 6th-tier side Macclesfield took on Crystal Palace and beat the FA Cup reigning champions 2-1. Now, Sam Heathcote had apparently been on the verge of being released by Macclesfield at the start of the season, but because he got on with everyone so well on a lad's holiday with the rest of the team at the start of the season, he was given a contract, and he could be seen drinking a pint at full time after scoring here. What a story for him. He is actually a PE teacher in his own right, and returned back to his school with a hero's welcome. Crystal Palace were given a golden ball for winning the FA Cup, just to do this. And Macclesfield are managed by John Rooney, who is Wayne Rooney's brother. "You're just a shit, John Rooney," erupted as a chant at Wayne. But what I will say is a beautiful result for Macclesfield. They also earned all of the ticket money from this game, and absolutely poetic after the tragic loss of their young footballer Ethan McLeod earlier on in the season. At Manchester United, and they were defeated 2-0 by Brighton to exit a cup competition at the first hurdle yet again. But their boss has United DNA, so how is this possibly happening? United are only ever in a cup competition because they haven't actually started playing in it yet. A 40-game season is an absolute madness, but the Red Devils, yeah, losing, and then the camera pans to Sir Alex Ferguson. Oh my god, it's my dopamine. He'll be going into Ineos's office with an undercover covert plan to assassinate everybody given what's going on. Meanwhile, Brighton centre-back Jean-Paul Van Hecker could be seen next to Sir Alex Ferguson, rubbing it in the Scotsman's face. Youngster Shea Lacey received a red card here after just crashing out, basically. Getting a little bit annoyed. I think it's harsh. I think it's kind of stupid. The poor kid was about to cry as he came off. I feel bad for him. I'm joking, Bayern United. And in the meantime, Manchester United have hired and appointed a new interim. Michael Carrick is in as United boss till the end of the season. Apparently, he's got to deliver Champions League football if he's to keep his job afterwards. Bro, he's a supply teacher. If Amarim couldn't, then how is he supposed to? Wayne Rooney apparently wants to be his assistant. Luke Shaw and Brian and Burmo will be ordering food with him in the canteen.
Chicken boner, bag of chips, Cayman and 9 popping on.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel like Wayne might have a difficult time trying to communicate with Nasser Mazraoui.
You wanna? Tell me then. Tell me then.
And things could get really techie when he's trying to get aggressive with Casemiro and start sparring him on the training ground. It's been a bad week for Manchester United and for Bruno Fernandes, who saw his Twitter account get hacked as well. United tweeted confirming the situation, to which Bruno replied saying, "Shit, I better tell everybody." Honestly, some of these were absolutely crazy. There were tweets about Bonnie Blue. He was sliding into people's DMs. He was calling out Luke Littler. But don't listen, I see what's going on, okay? Bruno, you can't fool me. He was using this as an excuse to say that he wants Ineos out.
I can see what they're doing, what he's doing. He's cooking.
Elsewhere in the FA Cup, and Liverpool faced off against Barnsley. Dominic Szoboszlai scored a screamer to open the scoring, but didn't celebrate. Erling Haaland posted on Snapchat that he should smile a little bit. But Adam Phillips would get a goal back for Liverpool versus his boyhood and former club as a youth prospect because of Dominic Szoboszlai's motor neurons going on holiday. Yeah, he had an up and down half, let's say that. Apparently, according to Barnsley's manager, Conor Hourihane, this was disrespectful because he wouldn't try this in a Premier League game or a Champions League game. And to be fair, I kind of hear it. I don't think he would have tried it in one of those, but quite frankly, I don't think he should even be trying this in a training drill. Florian Wirtz and Hugo Ekitike did respect Barnsley by absolutely shafting them coming on as substitutes. Meanwhile, Cody Gakpo was seen holding his own boot during a run in behind after it slipped off. He found his level in this one, by the way. Nah, I'm joking. His level is baller league. I can't even lie. Aston Villa elsewhere knocked Tottenham out of the FA Cup. Kevin Danzo could be seen doing Thomas Frank's job for him. Meanwhile, Morgan Rogers and Joao Palhinha got into a scrap after Ollie Watkins celebrated in front of the Portuguese centre mid. Better news elsewhere in North London, though, as Arsenal swept aside Portsmouth. Doing up kamikaze corners versus an EFL team is nuts. Set piece and inshallah at a ground where people are still standing up. Liverpool's #1 most wanted, Gabriel Martinelli, scored a hat-trick in this one. Conor Bradley, I'm sure, was at home fuming, training to snap Martinelli's shin pads in 2027. I just know when a Portsmouth player went down injured, Gabriel was itching to go and elbow him in his jaw.
Rastafari, lick him up, Rast.
Ty from AFTV was gassed when he got a high five from Noni Madueke in this one. But at the end of this FA Cup segment, I do want to just highlight something. On January the 11th, which was the Sunday set of games, there was not a single free-to-air game on TV in the UK, which is an absolute joke. The FA Cup has always been built on being like readily available for people that don't want to have to fork out £60, £70 a month just to watch the football. There was not a single game on ITV or BBC, and it's stuff like that that's really taken away the essence of the FA Cup, even in a week where someone like Macclesfield defeated Crystal Palace. On to, though, now the AFCON roundup, and this week saw the tournament's finalists decided. This has been an incredible AFCON once again. Even though it's approaching its final stages, I'd like to dedicate a moment to all of the nations that provided us with some more of the unserious moments so far. Speaking of which, and part-time footballer and full-time unserious nation, Nigeria would be facing off against Algeria in the quarterfinals. But against all odds, we actually won and played amazingly. Lucas Zidane dodging a Victor Osimhen header actually did help, in fairness. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Akor Adams got revenge for DR Congo by doing the Lumumba celebration that was mocked by an Algerian player last week. This one, though, descended into chaos. Algeria players unhappy with the referee's management of the game. There were scraps between the two sides out on the pitch at full time, and Algerian players then confronted the referee in the dressing room. Doing all of this after 0 shots on target is insane. I must have been watching a different game. The ref must have stuck one in the back of the net for Nigeria himself. Meanwhile, Victor Boniface offered to get a G-Wagon for every Nigerian player, and that puts us a place in the final 4 against Morocco. Winner finds their place in the final. And after a tense affair, a 0-0 draw, it would go to a penalty shootout, where Bunu would prove to be a penalties hero once again for Morocco. Yeah, it's yams this week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not even gonna lie. At least we can make up for it in the World Cup, innit? God, I'm gonna top myself. Yeah, we got bad in this one. I'm gonna be so unbelievably honest. Imagine if Algeria had been here against Morocco. They'd have been battered about 11-0. The hashtag for their game was absolutely insane, though.
Beg your pardon?
Meanwhile, Victor Boniface, yeah, he'll be swiftly confiscating those G-Wagons after this performance. We were outclassed, out-attacked. Morocco probably deserved to win it in normal time, though the referee was absolutely shocking, as was Samuel Chukwueze's penalty in the shootout. This is why Calvin Bassey didn't pass to you. Nigeria's coaches were fuming with Samuel on the bus. Oh.
Simple pass. This is what they teach us in academy. Simple pass.
Egypt, meanwhile, faced off against Senegal in the other semi-final, with Sadio Mane and Mo Salah reunited in the tunnel. Sadio would once again, though, get the better of his former Liverpool teammate as Senegal booked their place in the final. Sadio, he actually ruins Mo Salah's AFCON experience every time he bucks him. He just takes his chain. Mo came for revenge and it did not go well. He could be seen trying to get excited for an AFCON tournament before realising that Sadio Mane is also on the plane. Meanwhile, somewhere in a Scouse living room, and Jamie Carragher was celebrating profusely. It wasn't just Manchester City slapping teams this week. Bayern Munich dished out a hefty 8-1 victory on the head tops of Wolfsburg. This one was one-sided as hell. Wolfsburg are not even like the worst team in Germany, by the way. That is kind of insane. Bayern tweeted at the end of the game that there would be 6 minutes of injury time, and they were in fact a little bit concerned Wolfsburg could mount a comeback. Yeah, it's a shithousery award for the Germans. But imagine their Wolfsburg striker just warming up and getting ready to land the duttiest 8-goal special in extra time. In Italy now, and at Inter versus Napoli, it was a 2-2 draw. Scott McTominay scoring a brace and being lauded as the GOAT by his side. This one featured a 1-pixel offside decision off of somebody's arm, which I'm sure got Antonio Conte fuming, so fuming that he decided to square up to the 4th official.
I prefer to kill him.
Marco Pasalic scored for Atalanta this week with a lovely break and counter-attack, but he found himself emotional celebrating after the loss of his father in the week building up. So Marco, obviously incredible to, to play through, emotion like that, and a beautiful way ultimately to remember family. There might be a new talent on the scene over at Roma, where 16-year-old Antonio Arena scored on his debut, but not just on his debut, with his first touch off the bench. An explosive entrance to Italian football for Antonio, and it's been an explosive entrance for Jamie Vardy, though at the other end of the age scale. His teammate Romano Mussolini said that he does in fact drink Red Bull pretty much every day, and they have a fridge specifically for him. Hold on a second, what? Mussolini?
Pardon?
In France, and Paris Saint-Germain lost to their city rivals Paris FC in the Coupe de France. That allegedly means no sex for PSG this year. It was an insane save from an OGC Nice youngster in a penalty shootout. After a kind of half-botched Panenka, he still managed to get up, dive the other way and make the save. Genuinely insane agility. Meanwhile, elsewhere in France, we've got a referee who doesn't understand how his coin works.
Bleu. Jaune, ça sera là-bas. C'est bleu, ok? Donc ça veut dire que c'est là-bas. Non, vous avez dit là-bas. Non, je dis là-bas.
In Spain, and Gerard Piqué had a call to action for the club that he owns. Andorra, obviously, you know, very mountainous region in the north of Spain, is getting a lot of snow at this time of year, and he asked for fans of Andorra FC to come and help and dig that snow away so they can actually play games. Meanwhile, there was weather of a different kind catching out Real Santander players. Now that it's time for your goals of the week, we've got a couple more bangers for you. First of all, a goal of the week and Shithousery Award collaboration, as Stoke City won versus Coventry in the FA Cup with an 88-minute strike from Lamine Cisse. A lovely volley from the outside of the area. He then celebrated by knee sliding with his Stoke teammates in the opposition manager Frank Lampard's technical area. Yeah, it's a Shithousery Award. That's crazy work. Meanwhile, in the Bundesliga and at Heidenheim versus Köln, 4 goals in this game, but easily the best one is this incredible scorpion kick from Marvin Peiringer. Hello all, and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty. And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Now, in the Netherlands, and Maximilian Ibrahimovic is following in his father's footsteps by joining Ajax from Milan. And it is exciting, I'm sure, for Ajax fans, so Maximilian will want to temper expectations when supporters of the club are flooding the streets thinking they've got a Zlatan regen.
I'm not Zlatan, okay? He just let me use his car.
There was crazy scenes in Switzerland in a friendly involving FC Lugano. This was a friendly against Victoria Poulsen, and striker Kevin Behrens decided to run over to his teammate Georgios Koutsias and shoved him to the ground. But called him like a little weirdo, shoved him to the ground. That's your teammate, bro, and we're playing a friendly, and you're attacking him because he's not pressing correctly. What are we even doing here? In Brazil, and Neymar's back to his usual ways.
For Arda Güler, he's an amazing player. I think he is the best in midfield in the world.
He's only said to Arda Güler because you're wearing a turkey top, by the way. Like, he's just trying to impress you so he can clutch, you know what I'm saying? On the theme of Brazilians, and Fabinho found himself getting a red card for Al Ittihad this week for his cynical second yellow challenge, except he wasn't willing to face the music, instead just running away from the referee for time. And on the theme of Saudi Arabian red cards, in a game between Al Tawoun and Al Shabab, Abdullah Matouk was called back out from the dressing room after a disagreement on the pitch with the referee. VAR had concluded that he'd spat towards the official, so the ref called him back out and sent him off again. Great stuff. In Turkey now, an Ahmedspor striker Mbaye Diagne is doing an interesting post-match interview.
Meşhur maskesiyle beraber tebrik edelim öncelikle. Çok değerli bir galibiyet. Sezonun en kritik maçlarından birinde.
And also very cold inside, so I say alhamdulillah, we win, we kept 3 points.
In Scotland and at Stirling Albion, a fan has been sent off, allegedly, according to the referee. Well, here's the footage, as you can see. Clearly something was said to the official and he's decided to send the supporter off. How does this even work for the fan? What, is he banned from the turnstiles now? Tottenham fans will be trying to do this to get themselves sent off so they ain't got to come next week. Back in the Netherlands, though, and whilst Ajax have been making signings, they've not been making moves in games. Yeah, they lost 6-0 to AZ Alkmaar. You're out of the cup. Yeah, you're very out of the cup, mate. You can't post a cute little graphic after this. It's outlandish. They tweeted the other day saying about players for the future, given the amount of, you know, talent that comes through their academy and players they produce. How about something from the present, fam? Because clearly, back in Saudi Arabia, and as Al Hilal faced off against Al Nassr, Al Hilal supporters were chanting Messi at Cristiano Ronaldo. He responded by shushing them, but Al Hilal got the last laugh by winning the game. Meanwhile, back in Scotland, and Nicholas Raskin appeared back out of the tunnel to spray down an Aberdeen fan that had been annoying him with a bottle of water.
Oh, jeezy pips, man.
Closer to home, and Wesley Fofana's back on the roads and pretty swiftly off them again. He's hit 50 points on his license. Bro's top of the league. What are we even doing here? He arrived for Liam Rosenior's first training session in below, like, subpar standard. Everton's Twitter admin accidentally retweeted a post about Tyler Dibbling and Merlin Roll and who scouted them. I think that man might be getting his P45 soon. Down in the Pizza Cup, the old St Johnstone's trophy, and I don't know what's going on between West Ham and Wimbledon. And Woking, and you could maybe forgive this defender for giving up and thinking the ball was in the back of the net, but if he just kept his eyes on the prize, he might have been able to clear it away after it got stuck in the mud. And what about this for experience? 46-year-old Kevin Ellison, who plays for Vauxhall Motors, has just reached 1,000 career appearances. He spent most of his career in the EFL, but that is insane longevity. In MLS now, and Timo Werner has arrived in the league, signing for San Jose Earthquakes. It's not even a good team, you know, in MLS. This is a transfer that AI cannot even replicate. There's a new signing at Boca Juniors. $5 million man Marino Hinostroza arrived and decided to play some football with his Colombian mates, and they are trying to attack him. Bruv, be careful, you know, he's just signed for a new team for big money. Another man getting some big money is Mario Balotelli. He's joined a club in the 2nd division of Emirati football. Meanwhile at Merthyr Town, and they're getting their cocks out again, lads. This can't keep going on like this. Now that it's time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now, this is the segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. And this time, oh my goodness gracious me, it's not necessarily Sunday League, but this is a group of friends having a kickabout, right? And the weather conditions are apocalyptic. No football should be getting played on a pitch as muddy as this. But what it has done is create one of the most satisfying bicycle kicks I've ever seen. You know, that is crazy. Sign him up right now. Wherever this clip has come from, get him professional. On to the weird stuff though now. First of all, in Sudan, and Al-Merrick made pretty, I want to say history this week. I can't imagine this has happened too many times in history, but a Sudanese club played 2 league games in 2 different countries today. Yeah, Sudan, obviously, there's been a lot going on in the nation, to put it bluntly. And so Sudanese football clubs have been playing in different countries, it's like near to them in Africa. The A team played across the border. Meanwhile, their B team played and was actually in Sudan. Both games ending in a draw. But the final story is insane, and it comes from Indonesia. We're heading down to the 4th division of Indonesian football now, where we find Mohamed Hilmi Gymnastaria. Now, his side are 4-1 down, and clearly, he's not very happy about the situation. So he has unleashed perhaps the worst tackle I have ever seen in my life. Definitely the worst to feature in football this week. Straight into the chest of his opponent. The ball isn't even off the ground, for fuck's sake. He's immediately sent off and has now been banned not only by his club, but banned from football activities for life by the Indonesian Football Association. Completely understandable. That, though, is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at the official FNG on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.